sometimes you're just one question away. And with that, we're going to continue here with another daily Kaupenjoe, where I talk for 10 minutes unedited about random topics, and then after 10 minutes, I cut it off. So, today I was thinking about specifically sort of for the introverted side of the viewers. The idea is as follows. If you're quite introverted, let's say you are a little bit too terminally online, which has happened before, and sometimes you're like, I'm really not like interested in let's say meeting strangers, right? Even though you might say, I could use some more sort of social connections, because just having social connections via Discord and the internet, while nice and while definitely valid, like those are valid friendships, I would still say that actual like real life interactions should be probably prioritized. And one of the things that is quite interesting is that most of the time, and we've talked about this previously, most of the time, people are way more receptive than you might think. So one thing that is very strange is usually when I'm out and about, or either alone or with my mom, it is actually incredible how many people just casually talk to us. And that 100% comes down to the completely scientific /S vibe. Now, there is something about that. I don't know if this has ever been studied. I will probably have to look up some studies on this, but there is, without a doubt, you just get a feeling for someone sort of in your gut. And that one you just have to listen to, especially when you're sort of evaluating a person. If your gut tells you this is something's not right here, you should probably listen to that more than you just like, because otherwise you're going to rationalize any sort of issues away. And I think that just happens. So if you have a good vibe when you go outside, people are going to, they will talk to you differently. They will see you differently, because that's just what happens. I have a couple of examples. Okay, one example that I can share is, so we were out and about, evening with the boys. We were drinking a little bit, and we were talking to some girls, and we were just casually just flirting a little bit, like it is. So a friend of mine and myself with two other girls, and we were both we were all in uni. And basically, because it's a uni town, and we were just, sort of in the evening. And basically, we were just casually talking. And then, one of them says, oh, yeah, I'm studying math. And I was like, what the frick, like, possessed you to study math? And he was like, I actually don't know. And we just, just casually just talking a little bit. And then I dropped the fact that I was already studying for my master's. And I kid you not, you just saw the entire body language shift towards way more interest for some reason. It doesn't matter whether or not it's I don't know, like blue pill, red pill stuff, whatever. But like you can just see that was just incredibly interesting to that girl. And then basically she invited us to go with them to another party, because they were like, oh, we're going to another party, which obviously means come with us. But okay, we didn't go with them. It was fine, it was okay, but I genuinely still actually kind of interesting. Like that was kind of interesting. And the main point of this is, if the base vibe is all right, then from there on you can continue to go. And I've got a couple of other like sort of stories about the vibe, which is not like, I don't feel like sharing them publicly, let's say. But that is one big thing. So you're one question away from sometimes anything, or maybe just 2 or 3 questions away. And especially if you're more on the introverted side, sometimes I am definitely, although it does seem like sort of this social, I don't know, like being social is a muscle that you just have to continuously use, and then bam. Because, people are just people, and, this is sort of like, oh, yeah, wow. The wisdom of the ages. People are just people. Yes, but it is true. There's nothing really to be afraid of in that sense, right? As long as you're respectful, as long as you're just a normal human being, and you then talk to them as a normal human being, I would say 99.9, out of, 100 times, you're going to be totally fine. So it's just really unfortunate that sometimes there is a perception, and this is really the truth, right? Usually it's the perception that clouds our judgment of anything, really, right? We think that the world is way more dangerous than it actually is, right? What is the statistic? The statistic is like, if you ask people from like 2000 or something like that, every year they ask, has the world gotten more dangerous? And basically almost every year they're like, yes, the world has gotten more dangerous. Meanwhile, every single statistic in terms of crime has been down like 80% or something. Might not be that drastic, but you know what I mean. It's just been down like crazy. And that's really interesting that our perception is so different. It's sort of the difference between feeling safe and being safe, right? Sometimes you feel safe, but you aren't actually safe, but nothing happens. That's fine. However, sometimes then you are safe, but you don't feel safe. One prime example of that is the security theater in airports. Now, obviously, some amount of security apparatus in airports is really important. However, this unbelievable, like crazy thing that you have to go through, especially in America when it comes to airport security, it's just there to make you feel safe. It provides barely any safety. So this is all about, basically it's all about psychology, right? It's like, it is completely irrational because it doesn't make any, what do you say? It doesn't make any sense. The same thing is the idea of, being afraid of flying is fine, but you hear the statistics. Well, it's more likely that you die in a car crash than an airplane crash. And it's like, yeah, because the 100,000 airplanes that land that land successfully every day, we don't hear about them. So it's, I don't know. I think the slant that news are always slanted negative, which it makes sense because you should be informed about things like that. I don't know. I think this goes around to guarding your perception. If you want to guard anything, guard your perception and guard whatever you put in. So one thing that a friend of mine once said is, if you just put in garbage, the garbage is going to come out, right? So garbage in, garbage out. And that's the same thing that's going to happen when your, let's say, media diet is always going to be negative. You have to have some sort of positive slant on everything. Otherwise, you will always see the negative, right? Because what you focus on is what you get. 100%, the like psychology experiment where, you have to count the number of times the white team passes a ball between them, and then there's like, did you notice the gorilla? And then you're like, haha, I already knew that one. I of course I saw the gorilla. And then it's like, okay, did you also notice that the curtain at the background changed its color? And you're like, what? Yeah, and then basically, so it is true, and you can say that it's not really profound. Oh yeah, what I don't focus on is what I don't see. Yeah, congratulations, but you're not really implementing that in your life. You should implement that in your life. Focus on positives, and all of a sudden you will see more positives, right? And this goes complete circle to the idea of you're one question away, or you're one question away from almost anything you want. It's like, if you focus on the positives, if you put out a positive vibe, all of a sudden you will also attract positive vibes back. And people might try to drag you down, but I once again want to give you one of my quotes over here. For someone to drag you down, they need to be beneath you. Well, that can happen. So yeah, I would say that that's also a thing to really think about and to just sort of ponder a little bit. As for any sort of practical advice here towards the end of the video, I would argue just ask for a small thing and then just see what happens. Ask with a smile, ask with good intentions, and ask with good vibes. And most likely, even if it's not going to be a yes, it's not going to be a devastating no. Regardless of what it is, if you want to ask your girl out, if you want to ask a girl out, if you want to, I don't know, get a job. Maybe get a job is a little bit rough, but you know what I mean, right? Just